You know what I want? A Max Rebo spin-off. I mean, who doesn't want that? Really? Are you kidding me? Who deserves their own characters in Star Wars? I think that there are a lot of characters that could potentially get their own spin-offs. I know that a lot of people think that, oh, it's useless to have to make movies about characters that we already know. You have to branch out the universe, and I think there's room for both. I think there's room for new characters and for stories for characters that we are already familiar with. I think that can be cool too. Just look at the books and the comics. They explore a lot of characters that we already know. And I think that the movies and the TV series can continue to do that as well as branch out and do something completely different as well, like the High Republic. And I think that would be really interesting to make these 10 spin-offs. I think that these characters, they deserve their own movies or their own series, in my opinion. I think that there's a lot that you can do with these top 10 characters. So without further ado, here they are. Number 10 is Kelleran Beck. Kelleran Beck is an interesting character, in my opinion, to explore because he's the Jedi in Mandalorian Season 3 that saved Grogu from Order 66. So I think you have to kind of explore him more. I know that he has his own like YouTube web series, and that he came from that. But I think that it would be cool to explore his origins, his Jedi origins, and where he came from. And I think that more stories in the prequel era, I think, is always a good thing. So why not do a series or a movie about Kelleran Beck? I think that would be awesome. And of course, Ahmed Best plays him perfectly. So more Ahmed Best, please. He's always more welcome. Number 9. I think a series about Obi-Wan training Anakin in between episode 1 and 2 would be awesome. But I think that you would do a animated series. This time you don't do a live action show because the actors are young, and I think that it would be better served as an animated show. I would love to see how Obi-Wan trained Anakin. Their banters, I love these two together, so I would love to watch a show about Obi-Wan training Anakin. Number 8. Cal Kestis. Cal Kestis is a character from the video games Jedi Survivor, and I love his character. I've played a lot of the game. I haven't played all of it. I haven't played Jedi Survivor 2 yet, but I think that his story is fascinating, and I think he's just a cool character. So I would love to see a Jedi Survivor film or series. I think that his character is fascinating and interesting enough to have a show, or at least a movie, a spin-off film. I think that he is super cool, and he is just a badass. Number 7 to me is Luke Skywalker. I think that in Luke Skywalker you can do some interesting things with him in between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens. I think that time can be explored where Luke actually was trying to rebuild the Jedi Order, and he had his own temple and his students, and actually he was probably just searching for Jedi artifacts and maybe Sith artifacts as well. I think that would be a cool time to explore. You could do an animated series for that one as well. Maybe have Mark Hamill voice cast Luke Skywalker. I think that would be pretty cool. I know a lot of people say you don't need that story told, but I think that it could be interesting. I think that there's a lot there, and I just love the episode with Luke training Grogu in the Book of Boba Fett. Actually, I thought it was the best part of the Book of Boba Fett. So bring on a Luke Skywalker show. I would love to see it. Number 6 I would take a Yoda spin-off. I think that Yoda is an interesting character to do because he's so old. Just a bunch of different options that you can do with him. You could put him in the past. You can put him in the High Republic. You can put him in the prequel era. This and the original trilogy. There's just so much that you can do with his character, and you can even explore his origins as well. I don't know if you would be interested in that, but I think I would. I would be interested in knowing where Yoda came from, and if there are a bunch of small Yodas running around in his own little planet. I would be interested in knowing that. I know that it's important to keep the mystery of the character, but I think it's about time that we know a little more about Yoda. Number 5. Me is young Palpatine. I think that young Palpatine could be interesting for so many reasons. Only because he's the big baddie of the entire saga. He comes from Naboo, and I think that you can just show how he became interested or involved in Sith lore, and how he was trained by his master Darth Plagueis. I think it's really about time that the saga shows Darth Plagueis on the big screen. So let's do it. Let's have Tom Hiddleston or Matt Smith play young Palpatine. I think would be a great Disney Plus series if we ever do it. So yeah, just young Palpatine for the win. I think it would be a cool idea. Number 4. Darth Maul. There's a lot of things that we don't know yet about Darth Maul, about his life, mostly in between Clone Wars and Rebels. There's a lot to be explored there, and I would love to see more of his relationship with Kira, which may or not be next on this list. I think that Maul is one of my favorite Star Wars characters, period, and I would love to see him in his own show or his own film. I think people love Darth Maul, so why not do it? I think he deserves his own film. I really do. Number 3, said her name already, and it's Kira. I think that Kira can have a lot of potential for her own spin-off show or a movie, and can also include the dark corners of the galaxy. It could be like this mom movie, sort of like Goodfellas or The Godfather with Kira in it, with Star Wars. I think that could be an interesting thing to do, and I would love to see Emilia Clarke come back as the character. We see more of her in the comics. She's very important. She's had her own books. So I would love to see more of Kira in the Star Wars universe. Number 3, we have young Leia. We've had her in Obi-Wan Kenobi. We've had a little bit of her in Rogue One. And we've had her mentioned a few times in Ahsoka series, but we haven't seen her yet. I think that young Leia could work. We already had a great novel by Claudia Gray telling the story of young Leia, but I think that you can do more of her. You can explain more of the details as maybe a TV series or a show. You can take the same actress, or you can take even Billy Lord. I think that could work too. You can have actually a young Leia series in any time. In any time period, I would be okay with it. You can have her trained by Luke, maybe in the era of post Return of the Jedi. I would love it. I would love to see a young Leia or an adult version of Leia played by Billy Lord have her own show or spin-off. I think that would be cool. Number 1, the character that deserves her own spin-off the most, and that we haven't seen a lot of, is Jyn Erso. I think that Jyn Erso deserves her own spin-off. Again, she's had a great book called Rebel Rising. That book is amazing if you haven't read it. It explores her backstory with Saw Gerrera, and there's actually really dark things in that book. But I think that Jyn Erso would make a great spin-off film or just a series. I think she's a fascinating character, and we haven't explored much of her in the film Rogue One. Even though I love her character, I just think that her backstory could be further explored. So, already have like an Andor series for Cassian Andor, so why not have Jyn Erso spin-off as well? I'm sure that Felicity Jones would probably do it. So, yeah, have her be in this show. Other characters that I would potentially like want a series spin-off for would be maybe Natalie Portman as Padme Amidala. I think that could be interesting. I know that Samuel L. Jackson has talked many times about Mace Windu's spin-off film or spin-off series. I think that could work, but I'm not that big on Mace Windu in general. I don't really love his character. I think he's a bit dumb, so I wouldn't really be interested in that. So yeah, those are my ideas for Star Wars spin-offs characters that we already know. Let me know your picks down in the comments below. I didn't include Darth Vader because I think we've had enough, and I don't want them to overdo Darth Vader. I think there's a danger to that, and I think that his entire saga is basically his own spin-off. So yeah, that's why I didn't include him in this list. So let me know what you think about these choices for spin-offs. I like my picks. I think these would make cool Star Wars movies. I know there were talks about Jabba the Hutt as well. I wouldn't be really interested in seeing a Jabba the Hutt movie, although it could be funny at times. I just wouldn't really want that. So yeah, let me know what your picks are. Please in the comments below. Subscribe. See you next time. Peace.